I'm assuming maybe I'm live. Might need to move that camera back some. For some reason, it's not coming up on my... Here we go. Not mirrored. Yeah, I went ahead and turned the camera the way that it has been. I am going to go ahead and go check it real fast, though. But I'm sure it's going to be mirrored. What's up, TPG, Clint Co? I saw Matt HMM's in here, too. I went ahead and just have it faced the other way so I can't see what I'm filming, can't see the chat or anything like that. Vegan said, nice sweater. I saw Vegan just got in on a possible giveaway a minute ago. I saw his comment come up while I was over there getting stuff set up. What's up, Contreras, Roberto, Lou Dog, Oscar, Sam Lee, Abraham, Terry Burton's in here. I need to maybe this. I started bringing my iPad out here because then I think maybe if I put it over here and then every once in a while I'll have to scroll. I'm going to try to figure out some way to mount it up here. And then I won't have to look down so much. I'll be able to look at you guys instead. I tried it with the TV a long time ago. I thought that was going to be awesome. I had an extra TV. I was going to set it up over here and just mirror my phone to it. But every time I was doing it, it would just mirror the video and it wouldn't put the chat up. What's up, Roy Phipps? Jamie True's in here. Denny O'Fools. And Jesse Haynes said something that he decided he didn't want to say. What's up, Rusty Daves? So we ended up getting to the, I think we had 575 likes, which I didn't say in the video. I put it in the description. I was going to wait till I got 500 likes, which I figured it was going to get that anyway. So I think we got it maybe on Tuesday, but I'm just always going to do the giveaway on whenever the next live is after whatever it is. Steve Jensen, first I've made in a minute. Good evening, he said. So we'll do the giveaway in a little bit. And then I had a couple questions on the pen pal that I go over. And one of them's actually really good. I'm glad he even thought about it. I didn't even think about it. And it's really nice. That's all I really had this week is a couple questions on that. I haven't got a chance to film much in the last little bit. It's been raining like crazy. I still got to film the guest of trade. Hopefully tomorrow. I don't think it's supposed to rain or anything. So hopefully I'll have time to do it tomorrow. The next person on the list only has like 5 or 6 pictures. So hopefully it won't take me very long, to do it. What's up, Mac Bergson, Chuck Dog? I'll wait a little bit just to make sure enough people are in here. We got 60 people. Before I do the giveaway, 10-minute wonder video. I was trying to think the one I'm going to do tomorrow is which actually I just got Bonto Tech's answer, but he posted it yesterday. I emailed him yesterday and asked him if he could answer because I thought I was going to have 2 in a row where I didn't get an answer. And I need to go back and check episode 54 because YouTube every now and then, which sometimes if you reply to somebody else's comment, I don't get notifications for those. And there's been a few times where somebody's left their answer like in somebody else's, but I ended up finding it because somebody added at me or at some point in time in those. But for some reason, every now and then, it's been here lately, YouTube will put like, normally if you go to any YouTube video, it's going to be top comments. Like I can go to my guest of trade 55 episode right now and go through every single comment, scroll down through there. But if it's only on top comments, I can look down through there and his response is not in there at all. So I got to go over and select new or all comments or something. I don't remember what it is. And then I can scroll down through there and there's a few more comments in there that I never got a notification for, never got any kind of notice at all. And it wasn't a reply, it was a comment. So every now and then, if I don't comment back to you, it's because I never got a notification. So it's usually, most time it's going to be if you do it in somebody else's and it's a reply and it doesn't put my name on it. But every now and then, even comments, they don't show them to me sometimes. What's up, Jay Atletico? Got my vessel SLH two-way speed L handle today. He likes it. Jason Simpson just said, "What's up?" Let's see, I go scroll up a hair. It's only going to be a short guess the trade. Yeah, it's like I said, I think it's still a good bag, and I'm glad that he sent it in because it's a Tech MC, the one that I'm going to do, the next one that I'm going to film, and I've been looking at those here lately. What's up, Alberto? Bobby Beach. Chuck Hampton got an HP 96 thermal today. Is the 96 the one with the looks like a gun? I can't remember what the numbers are. The 96V, I've got the one that looks like a phone. I can't remember if that was the 96. Those are both really good for the price, in my opinion. I mean, again, I've never had like a $600 or $700 one. I don't know what the difference is if you get those, but Mac follows a cigar group on YouTube. When they do a live, they're lucky to get 20 people. Joey's pulling in 60 in 2 minutes. It's because I'm doing a giveaway. I'll hold on for the giveaway for like an hour. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to do it here in just a minute, just to make people keep watching. Fix it with me. You always do a great job trying to reply to everyone. Well, that's not, like I said, it is kind of hard because it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot of comments and stuff, but that's the whole purpose of me having this channel, in my opinion. So it's like, that's what I look forward to. What's up, Eddie? Looks like the phone, Chuck Hampton. Yeah, that's the one I've been using the most here lately. I really like that one. Just bought a Tech MC. Missed the pregame show sports. How am I going to know when to drink since you don't have a phone to put down? Yeah, I think I'm going to like this iPad better. I'm going to see if I can get me some kind of figure out something where I can put it up like this so I don't have to look down like this. Because even if I've got to scroll, as long as I keep caught up a little bit, it's not bad. Bobby Beach said he found his mini ratchet at a Northern Tool. The only like I said, Acme Tools has had them in stock for quite a long time, but you know, it's only like a $20 tool and you're going to pay like $7 in shipping to get it to you. That's just crazy in my opinion, but it would be a good add-on if you're going to buy something else. Nice, humble brag. It's a lot of comments. Tech Pack is on the wish list. Out of stock doesn't mean it was ever in stock to start with. Oh, that's on the y'all are talking about the Vito bags. So I'll go ahead and get y'all moved over here. We'll do matter of fact, I need to go ahead and, this thing has been wanting to do this all day. It won't take remind me tomorrow as an answer. Let me get y'all. Oh, that's going to drive me crazy. Let me get this figured out first. Because I ain't wanting to do a restart now. That'll work. It kept popping up on me earlier and I couldn't get rid of it. I'll move y'all over here and we'll do pick a comment. Let me get y'all moved up closer. I'm hitting everything. All right. So I also, again, want to thank Tony Duran. He's the one that actually gave this to me. I mean, I'm giving it away, but he gave it to me. So let me go ahead and I can't see the chat right now. So we're going to copy this URL, throw it over in this thing. And I'm going to mention this now. I put it in the description, but just so you guys know, I don't add comment replies. So and then I also filter duplicate users. And the big thing about that is, that's why I put it in the description this time. I don't know that it's happened yet, but just in case, so basically, if you comment on this video like 4 times and you only put the hashtag in one of them, I don't know what comment of yours it's only going to keep one of them. So if for some reason on any of my giveaway videos, if you want to comment more than once, just make sure you put the hashtag in all your comments on those. Cause that way, if you commented 3 times and it kicks out, 2 out of the 3, you want to make sure you've got the hashtag on the one it doesn't kick out. So hopefully that doesn't end up happening on this one, but I'll try to remember to say that. But I put it in the, and then again, I'm not filtering by the hashtag. I don't care if it's spelled right, and even has, as long as I can tell somebody tried to do it, it's all that matters. That again just lets me know somebody wants to win it. One number of winners, 43 seconds. How many seconds we want to go today? We're gonna go. We'll go 52 seconds. 4 plus 2 is 6. Go get the comments. See how many we got in this time. 163. So 1 out of 163. I don't remember how many we had on the icon. It seems like maybe it was more than that. So a little bit. I remember back on the first few giveaways where it's been like you've had a 1 in 10 chance or something like that. So we're going to start the raffle. I just saw Chuck Dog. Let's see. There's Matt HMM. Just saw 3 phase roll through there. And again, small stuff like this, it doesn't have batteries. Like, let's see. I really like the conveyor. My guess is it's going to be at the end, but we'll double check and see. I think I remember this comment, so I think it is in there at the end. We'll go double check. So I really like the carabiner on the mini ratchet, and the M12 rotary hammer looks awesome. Let's go see. Oh, that didn't do right. Looks like we're going to have to go find that one. Usually if you click on that, it takes you to it. So we're looking for Ryan Lavelle. Let's go see if we can find that. This might take a second. Normally it goes right to it whenever you click that little arrow. I also need to, I need to try to remember to tell everybody to put it at the very front of their comment too. That way we don't have to do this, but I never remember. And it wouldn't matter anyways. Some people wouldn't, some people wouldn't. Run. I'm almost positive that it has it. I think I remember that one. Yeah, right there it is. So I really like the carabiner and the mini ratchet, and the M12 rotary hammer looks awesome. Hashtag Kleinaki. So Ryan, I guess it's Lavalley or Lavelle Lee or Ryan Laval Lee. I don't know. 6342. You're the winner. So again, what you'll do is just email me your address and all that stuff, and then I'll give you a word in that email for you to comment back on top of your comment with. Reply back. That way I know for sure it's you. Let me get y'all moved back. Somebody just commented on the video, Kleinaki. I just saw it, but you're a hair late. And somebody gave a 99 cents. I just saw. I don't know. I just see the number up there. I haven't got back to the comments yet, so we'll check it out. Let me turn this Wi-Fi off on this real fast, so that way it don't eat up my bandwidth. It was Vegan that gave the 99 cents. Appreciate that, buddy. Let's see. if I'm in the screen here. So Matt HMM said, shucks. Let's see. I'm going to get back up to where I was at before I did that. Great Milwaukee hoodie. Great show. I think I was here. Matt said he's thinking about getting the Tech MC backpack wheeler. 999 seconds. That's what I should have done. I could have kept some more views for longer. And I was going to say, like, stuff like this, even though I know it'll cost me an arm and a leg to ship it to, Austria. I don't know where Ryan's from yet. So, but the only time where I'll probably do the giveaways for sure on stuff where if it's like I'll limit it to US is if it's got batteries, because I took something in there to ship it one time that had batteries to ship it to somebody, and it was an ordeal, and it's not worth like that. And also sometimes if I do giveaways on things that are on Amazon, if for some reason you're overseas and it is available on Amazon in your thing, it would probably be cheaper for me to buy it and like on your Amazon and ship it to you than it would be for me to ship it to you. But we'll just see. Trying to bathe my dog without getting my phone wet. Did you get to try out the new M12 SDS yet? Michael Benucci said, I actually got it out just for, I went to look at a job. I want to say it was Wednesday afternoon, demoing out some studs. And then they also have a block wall on the front of their building that has some like, it's not really plaster so much as it was just like a skim coat of concrete over top of it. And I was trying to figure out how well it was stuck. And I just so happened to have that SDS drill in the front seat of my truck because I was taking it purposely to the job where I'm doing the quadplex, the apartment building. I set up a brick sample board with the vinyl, with the brick that's on the building on the bottom half for the wainscot, and then also siding so that the customer could see it and make sure they like the combination together. So I was going to take that with me just to use it on that brick wall because I got to take it down anyways, and so I could try it out on that. But it's been covered in snow for the last 3 days. So, but I had that in my seat in case I was going to do it. Well, then somebody called me and asked me to come look at that job, and I was like, man, it could take you forever to get this stuff off this wall, and it could be one of those things where it comes right off. And I was like, well, I got my SDS drill right out there in the truck, so I had the Klein demo hammer that has the SDS bits. I put the chisel bit of that in the SDS and used it. I did notice that the chisel function, it doesn't really kick in until you put a lot of pressure on it. Like it doesn't do anything until you put pressure on it as far as the chiseling. And that might be kind of standard on a lot of drills like that. I don't know, but I don't think I've ever noticed it on any of the other ones I've used. But I haven't got to use it a lot. I haven't even drilled holes for any kind of holes with it yet. Matt said he can tell you it works great, though. I can imagine it's going to. Like I said, I've got the older version, and I really love it. So I can't imagine that this newer one's going to be not better, or I can't imagine it's going to be even worse, for sure. I got Milwaukee bit ratchet, not much different than Klein, just buy a carabiner clip. Yeah, that could be like if you can't find one, it would be just as easy just to put the Klein one and then put the carabiner on it type thing. Let me pull up the two questions that I had real fast. I put them on here. Go to my photos. So one of them was from John Lennon. He was asking about I'm going to have to come around there because I can't tell. I can't see my screen. Come around here. Again, thanks YouTube for running it. Can I attach this to my Vito MPX pouch? And he was talking about the Pen Pal Pro. And at first I thought he was talking about, could he put that system on his MPX pouch? And I told him yes, because I was assuming he was kind of meaning, because this is what I do with several of my pouches. If I want to run a Magmaster or something like that, like if I could run an extra tool with this, put the Magmaster inside this tape clip, then you can kind of stick an extra tool on there. So same thing with the Pen Pal. You could do that and then carry your M12 surge on it if you wanted to. I thought that that's what he was talking about, but what he was actually talking about was, because I responded back to him with that, but he was talking about putting the pouch pin like that on the backside of his MPX so that it would spin and do that. And I don't think that you can, because the only thing you could possibly do is you'd buy like the flat one or something if you wanted to, and turn it like this way. You could maybe run it up in here, but I mean, that would be totally up to somebody if they wanted to attempt to do that, but it's not really made for it or anything. So I would say no. You probably could if you really wanted to mod it, if you wanted to do something like that. But I thought he was talking about putting it in the clip like what I was just showing you a minute ago. And then here's the other one. This one was a good one. So like this was J Rots or J Rots Z. I don't know how you would say that, but he said, can you take that pin pouch, instead of removing the belt clip, just invert it to have the pin, but also retain the belt clip? I just figured you could have a dual purpose. Thanks for your insight. So I still haven't answered him back yet, but I told him I'd probably show it in this live. So what he meant by that is, and it is actually pretty good. So let me go ahead and get back to where I can kind of see. I'm going to get this set up so I can see. So basically take this, like before in the video, I had this turned the other way. I'll just take one of these screws out and then that'll show you. So the way they show it in their pictures and everything online, you take this belt clip off and then, you know, you spin your pin pal like that and attach it and just get rid of this altogether. But if you put this, just leave your clip on there, take the screws out, and then put your pin pal on it like this, then you can kind of wear it both ways, which is good for maybe you've only got one of the holsters and you didn't buy an extra holster, and sometimes you only use a Joey pouch and sometimes you use your M12. So this would allow you to, if I've only got one of the clips, what do I do with it? I tell you, these metal clips though, I actually prefer their plastic ones, because that metal clip's got that little thing on the bottom, and if you get it wrapped around something, you can't hardly get it out. I prefer their older plastic. There's a little bitty nub on the bottom of these metal deals, and it makes it to where they don't hardly come out if it wraps around something. So if you've only got one of these, and like maybe normally you're carrying your M12 with it or whatever drill you're carrying, but then you also still need to carry your Joey pouch, this would allow you to still use your clip on it and clip it onto your belt, if that's what you want to do. So then I could still use it that way, use this with my M12, but then if I'm just carrying this with tools or something in it and I don't need a impact or whatever else, and I want to use this, again, that's going to wrap around my belt, I can now use it with the belt clip still on there, but then also use the pin part. So that's a pretty good idea. Holster ought to actually tell you that that's how you should do it, and just leave that on there, because then you got both options. So I appreciate him asking that question. See, that little metal clip wraps around the bottom of your belt sometimes if you got a thin belt. This little tab right here, and that actually makes this newer stuff harder to get off. I like their old plastic ones better. Not going to watch the fight between US and Canada tonight. The belt clip hanging up there looks like a fat flab's jabber in your side. Grind the metal thing off easy. Drops the pat. Yeah, that also does that. If that's something also, if you want it to be a little bit lower, it's going to drop it probably another inch or so if you've got longer arms. But yeah, that makes total sense to me. Like I would always do it like that, because I was actually thinking that it kind of stunk that if you wanted to carry an impact, but then also carry a Joey pouch, and you were in that system, you're going to have to buy, multiples of those holsters, where that's going to kind of save that. Hockey game might break out. I've never watched a lot of hockey, which it's never really been big in my area. Like now we do have the Nashville Predators aren't real far away. And there's some people like in my town that are big Nashville Predators fans, but I've never been to an actual hockey game like live in person. I have watched some on TV, but not a whole awful lot. Here comes the coffee. Yeah, it's cold. I had to make sure I had me some out here tonight. It's supposed to get down, and it's been down in the teens all day today. It's still 40 44 in here right now, but I'd already taken my little heater and my propane tank and put it in my other building a couple weeks ago when it warmed up, and I was just like, I'm not going and getting all that back out again just to bring it in here for tonight, because after I think all next week it's supposed to finally get back up in like 50s and 60s and stuff like that. So I'm hoping this is the very last of our cold spell. Does the Joey pouch have a magnet inside? No, it doesn't. It's got the just the liner stuff. And then the biggest difference between like the older style and the newer style is, and the pro version, because they got like, I know they got at least two versions, but I think they got three, is that like they've got these on the side of their pro versions where you can clip on your other things like the Mag Masters or the Pen Pal or whatever else. Basically, they've got those slots on the side for you to be able to slide these down inside and kind of attach those to the side of it. But they don't make, none of them have a magnet built into them or anything like that. $29 here and dropping. I'm in Central Texas. We're still seeing low 20s. Feels like teens. Yeah, I think tonight's supposed to be the coldest of the nights. We've got snow the last 2 days, probably like inch and a half or something, maybe two the first time, and then last night we got maybe an inch or something like that. But it's supposed to get cold tonight. Elliot said, enjoyed your interview last night. Looking forward to the second part. Yeah, it's pretty cool that it's going to end up being two parts. I was curious what he's going to do because I knew we were out here talking for a long time, and then I know most of his aren't that long. And then as I was watching it, and again, I was just as curious to watch it as what some of you may have been, because even though I was in it and in the conversation and all that, it's not something where like I filmed it or anything to where I went back to watch it after, and it was just me talking, and then I also didn't know how he was going to edit it or anything like that. So I was a little curious to see how it's going to go. Appreciate that, vegan. Hockey is much better in person. And see, that's like I've heard that about that. Something else that somebody said is better in person. It's like baseball. I've never liked watching baseball. I loved playing baseball, like whenever I was younger and all that stuff. But I've always found that I always felt like it was boring. Now, if I was going to watch it, I'd rather watch it in person, just because of the atmosphere and all that kind of stuff. It's one of those things where I can't watch it on TV. It's way too boring for me. Now, football, I'd rather watch on TV than in person now that I'm older, just because I don't like being in the mix of all the people, but also it's like you can't get a better view uh, of everything going on than what you can on your TV in person, just because it's such a big field and all that kind of stuff. Trailer is going soon. I'm tired of hauling big things. May get down to not needing a truck. That's my goal, Matt, is to get to where I could probably drive around in a little Honda Fit or something like that with tool bag and do work in the big scheme of thing. Hitting -9 tonight in Nebraska. I can't remember what the coldest I've ever been was in Michigan, and I don't remember what it was with the wind chill. It wasn't the temperature, but with the wind chill and all that, it was like the feels like temperature. I want to say it was like -40 or something crazy. I don't remember what it was, but it's the coldest I've ever been in my life. I could like even feel like every time I breathed in through my nose, I could feel ice like forming inside my nose. It was even getting out of the car just to run through the parking lot to get in the building that I was working at. It was horrible. Cass Gill said, I definitely need to go to a hockey game. I've thought about going to a Predators. Some people have asked me before several times a Nashville Predators game. They're not too far from me. Carrot cake is tasty, tasty in person. I like carrot cake. Vegan said minivan. Yeah, I think I definitely do want to get like a van on my next vehicle, but it just depends on when that happens in my life if I've transitioned. Because once my buddy retires that I work with on bigger jobs, he's older than me. Although he might end up working longer than me, I don't honestly ever see him hanging it up. I don't know if he will or not. He loves working. Uh, if he so happens to, hang it up and decide he wants to retire or something, then just depends on where I am because I'm gonna for sure swap from doing some of the stuff that we do together. I won't ever do by myself. PB Devies. Christopher Teeter said nothing but dealing with frozen pipes the last 2 days for me. I haven't got, surprisingly enough, I haven't got any of that kind of stuff. I'm surprised because usually because people in my area just aren't used to that often. But we have had that kind of weather the last few winters at least. There for a long time, we didn't have hardly any real cold weather in the winter time. And then so people didn't remember to leave like faucets dripping and all that kind of stuff. So we used to have that all the time. Chris Titzer looking to purchase a cordless 18 gauge Brad nailer. Would you go for the M12 nailer with no battery for 250 or flex 18 gauge with the battery for 280? So the M12 nailer, I like it, but it only shoots, what is it, an inch and 5/8 or inch and a half. I think it's inch and 5/8 is the biggest nail that it will shoot. So it just depends on what you're going to do with it. Like I shoot a lot of 2-inch nails in mine with my M18. So I would want one, like if I only could have one M18 Brad nailer and that's the only nailer that I had, I'd go with an M18 one that shot bigger nails. But if you've got a 16 gauge nailer already, or even a 15 gauge, but even then a 15, I don't know, because those are pretty big nails. You might not want to use them in certain things. But if you've got a 16 gauge nailer, then I would go with the M12 and just use that just because it's so small and compact. If for the times where you normally shoot the smaller nails, and then anytime you need a bigger nail, I'd use a 16 gauge. But if you only are going to run one nail gun and that's it, I'd get one that shot bigger nails. But that's again just my opinion, but it depends on what you're doing. I'm your age, 43, going on 44, and I'm just now getting into this. I'm thinking HVAC, but I enjoy some of all of it. Yeah, that's the way I am. I like doing a lot of just different stuff. At times, I kind of wish I would have just did like one thing sometimes and just really put all my effort into it and see how much I could have mastered just that one thing. But I also like variety of things. I had a job today and it turned out to be nothing what I expected it to be. It was one of those jobs I was looking forward to. Guy called me and said that he had been having problems with his lights. And then also when his wife plugged in her vacuum cleaner, it would turn the lights on like a plug that was in her hallway. It would turn the lights on in his laundry room. So like she could plug the vacuum cleaner in, and the lights would come on in the laundry room. So I told him on the phone, he had said they had just put in a newer light fixture. And I said, well, my guess is somebody, when you took down the light fixture, all the wires were taken apart. Somebody probably ran a switch leg with 12-2 or 14-2 or whatever, and somebody put all the wires back together and mixed the whites and the blacks, the neutrals and the hots. So that's what I expected it to be whenever I got there. I expected to get there and take the light down, rework a few wires, figure out what was what, put it back up. So then when I got there, I took out the, I first plugged in the receptacle tester in the receptacle that she was plugging her vacuum in. It said hot and ground was reversed and had 30 volts. But then if I turned the light switch off in the laundry room, it would show good. So then I knew it was something to do inside that box of the light switch of the light fixture in the laundry room. So I took the light fixture down, got into the box. It was basically the main box. It fed from that box to the light switch for that room, to that receptacle that was reversed, to the lights in the bathroom that was next to it, and then to the back door. The laundry room backed up to the back door. It went to a light that was outside. It was actually a ceiling fan outside on his back porch. So all the power was in that one box, and it just fed out from that one box behind his light in his laundry room. So I got all the wires apart, and then I had which the switch had a red wire in it. So it was actually a 14-3 wire. So once I saw that, I thought, well, somebody didn't mess that up then, because it wouldn't, they wouldn't have swapped a white wire around. So I pulled all the wires apart, and what I had 120 volts coming in on the black, which was the line in, but then I also had 120 volts on one of the white wires, but it was supposed to be a neutral. Like I could tell, because the black wire on that same cable was also 120 volts, and then the white wire was too. So it was like both of them were. Well, that went over to the back door switch, which went out to the ceiling fan outside. So I went out there and took the ceiling fan down. I thought, well, maybe there's a wire touching or something out there. So I ended up taking the ceiling fan down and took it apart, ohmed it out, and I had from the black in the ceiling fan, so going to your fan motor and all that kind of stuff, from that to neutral, I had continuity. So it was something was going in there inside the fan itself was touching. So all that was basically, there's something malfunctioning in the fan that was sending the hot back through the neutral. Then it was going back through all those things and ended up getting back to the plug. And the only reason why it was actually going on and off with the switch was because it was switching in that light box up there, kind of getting rid of one of the extra hots was what it was doing. They were getting rid of the hot that was on that neutral, because it was kind of switching that off. So it was a crazy ordeal, though. It took me a while, because I ended up having to take down all kinds of light fixtures to be able to find that. But it was nothing like what I expected it to be. But I'm saying that to say, what all y'all run into this week? He was saying something about frozen pipes. That's what I ran into today, was that. Other than that, I've been hanging drywall and finishing drywall in the recruitment center is what I've been doing mostly this week. Let's see, let's go up. So there's the Brad Naylor. Football is better at home, maybe a college game for the atmosphere, but watch the actual game better on TV. Yeah, I used to go. The only way I will go to a football game is if I've paid for really good seats. And I mean, I don't even want to go if it's not good seats. I'd just assume, because again, I'd rather watch it on TV. Vegan said he's serious. A minivan will hold full sheetrock and other large materials. Yeah, I know some guys that work out of minivans. M12 limited to the size of the nail. Make sure those will work for you. Let's see. Ryobi makes a fantastic 18 gauge Brad nailer. Ryobi's nailers are actually pretty good. I had the Ryobi pin nailer before I got the M12, because Milwaukee, it wasn't out yet, and I wanted a pin nailer, so I bought the Ryobi one, and it was really good. I sold it to somebody after I got the Milwaukee one, but I mean, I didn't really have any problems with the Ryobi one. I only got rid of it because I was just wanting to kind of consolidate my batteries. 15, 18 framing is all we use. I just purchased the M18 framing, 30 degree, awesome gun. Oscar said, dude, that dude is heavy though. That M18 is, which all the battery powered framing nailers are all heavy, but my buddy's got the M18. I've used it. Man, it is heavy. Appreciate that, Chris, on the thanks. Do you do much plumbing? We have to switch out stops and shut off valves pretty often. I've considered getting a Pro Press. I only do, I don't do a lot of, now that I'm on my own, I don't do as much. Now, whenever I worked for the facility that I worked for, I did quite a bit there, like whenever we was running new stuff or doing whatever. But I don't really do as much of that now. I will do like change out stops and stuff like that, but mostly only if I'm changing out a faucet and theirs don't shut off. I will give them the option that, I'll change out their shut off valves for them and stuff like that. I'll occasionally do like a repair, like for frozen pipes or a lot of outside water faucets. So I've repaired quite a few of those or changed them out. But I don't get into a lot of like new plumbing or anything like that. Occasionally, if I do a bathroom remodel or something like that, but everything is staying in the same place, but maybe it just needs some new lines or something like that because whatever's in there is not great. I'll do that too sometimes, but a lot of times I don't mess with too much stuff in plumbing as far as like installation of new piping and stuff like that, just repair type stuff. But yeah, a Pro Press, considering it, like I would think if you did stuff very often, it would be nice. Don't become a commercial electrician, low volt. You will run fiber for months at the same, or for months at a time. It's boring. I use a manual Pro Press, but I don't solder at all anymore. I haven't soldered in quite a while, but that's just because it's not really anytime somebody has a problem with plumbing that has copper piping, 9 times out of 10, they just say, change it over to PEX. You put on something and change over to change it over to PEX. So sometimes you might solder on a fitting that converts it over to PEX, but a lot of times they'll just even put on like a compression fitting or something like that. Got the Metabo framing nailers, really good. Contreras said, yeah, that one's on sale right now. The at my Lowe's, I think it's the 30 degree one. It's $279 with a 4 amp hour battery. It's not a bad deal. And my Metabo little narrow crown stapler, I really like that, to be honest with you. I wish it had a little bit better way of knowing exactly where your staple was going. I don't really like the sight like on it, but other than that, I mean, as far as performance wise, it's pretty good. And then I've got a Hitachi 16 gauge nailer, which is pretty much the same thing, and it's really good too. I will confess, when you talked about spending all your extra money, you're going to be broke. I was convicted. I have been spending quite a bit on tools trying to build my inventory. I must ease up. On that he's talking about on the podcast with HVACR, which now it's called Trades, because I can't remember what he changed it, but it's the Reliable HVACR podcast. Yeah, because what I was talking about in that was, I can't tell you how many people, but you're at least spending money on stuff that's going to be something that's going to make you money, or whatever else at some point in time. I was talking about people who they would basically get all kinds of overtime and be making a killing on extra money and all that kind of stuff, but then they just blow it on stuff, like instead of like paying off whatever debt you have and all that kind of stuff like that. I mean, just go out and spend every bit of extra money that they got, and then again, it doesn't really do you any good, because then that money might dry up or whatever it is. But I mean, what good's it do you to have a boat and a this and a that and a that, if you're in debt like crazy? It just doesn't make sense to me. I'd rather get out of debt and then take my money and go buy a boat once I'm out of debt type thing. I thought about doing manual to see if it was worth going that route. I don't solder anything. Metabo makes good nail guns. Yep. Appreciate that, Jesse. Get a big old bolt cutter under a sink. That's what happens. Yeah, I'm the same way about the PEX. Even like I've said before, I wish that I'd like to get the expander PEX, but again, it's not really that common in my area, to be honest with you. So almost everybody, any of the plumbing pipe I've got in my area, if I go to repair it, takes this kind of the crimp fittings. And I used to have the manual one that was looked like a bolt cutter, like a big old bolt cutter, but I pretty much can't stand those. I got these from iCrimp. I think I bought them on Amazon, but you can get these in pretty much any space, and they work really good, to be honest with you. And they weren't very expensive at all. So these are what I typically end up using with stuff like that. But I would like to get a powered version, just because there's times where if all you had to do is stick the head of something in there and push a button, that would be what would work out great. But I always had a problem with the PEX tool like this. It looked like a pair of bolt cutters. Like I could never failed at wherever it was I needed to get it. I couldn't ever get it in that place. So if that's what kind you've got, and you haven't got some of those that are just even the manual kind, that's what I'd get. Was it the same price for that ordeal, or were you like, dang, I didn't charge enough? Y'all are talking about something. Let's see. Have a good night, fellas. Stay warm. Appreciate that, Jesse. What's up, 5 Ghost Shadow? Flooring and trim at my dad's house. Michael said he was doing. When did you, let's see, when did you, Cambrad said, when did you, I'm assuming, get your new Atlas vest? I don't know which one. Let's see. So I've got my 1824 one, which is the one like that's been in the last few of my Watch Me Work videos that I've been able to do. This one is the Stratos, and I use this as this was what was in my Pen Pal video, if that's the one you're talking about. And I've never done a video for this one, but it's not really new. I've had it for a little while. I like it way better than the Saratoga that I've got, but I wear this one for like framing, drywall, like job site type stuff. But the only thing I never liked about the Saratoga one that I've got, and that's the one that's in my tool bags, tool belt, that kind of video, I never liked it because it was always short. Unless I put that belt on it, I thought it looked weird. This one is crazy adjustable, so you can take this one, like I could let stuff loose and almost take these things all the way down to here if I wanted to. So if you're super tall, like what Matt is and stuff like that, and I can also raise it up if I don't like it. And it's definitely cooler than the other one, even though I didn't get hot in it. But I really like this one. I've had this one now for probably, I don't know, maybe 6 months or so. I probably had this one. I've never done a video on this one yet. I really like it though. And then I got the 1819, and I only bought this one because it was on sale. So my 1824, I paid $250 for it. And then they had this one on sale for like $130 or something like that. I think it was one day. And I knew it took a long time to get it. So this one's just like my 1824. This one's the 1819. This one's actually on Amazon, certain sizes. So you wouldn't have to wait the 30 years to get it if it so happened to be your size. But this one, I'm going to keep just in case something happens to my other one. Or I might end up making myself a job site one of these, and then also so this one's just like my 1824 as far as same pockets here, same pockets here. All this is the same. It's got these pockets here as well. The biggest difference with this one is it's not mesh on the back. It's this solid material, but it's also got uh, pocket right here that you can put stuff in if you want to. I think it's also maybe got a pocket up here if I remember right. And then it also has pockets inside of here as well. So this one's got more pockets on it than my other one does, but my other one's got a lot more. It's made to be like cooler because it's got more mesh and stuff instead of all this. So I just got this one. It hadn't been a few weeks ago, but I ordered it last August. And the only reason why I went ahead and bought that's because it was on sale for like crazy cheap, like more than half off. So I went ahead and got it. Moving to my new apartment this week, so been busy with that, plumbing said. Five Ghost Shadow got his Galaxy Vessel screwdrivers from Japan. I can see why you like them. I love the balance they have. Yeah, my favorite screwdriver. That's really, in all honesty, it's the only one I only use pretty much is the ball handle tang throughs. I mean, I still use my Klein multi drivers on stuff, but just regular screwdrivers, it's pretty hard for me to even use something else anymore. Between these three screwdrivers right here of my versions, get them out of my Clint Co. Lowe's bucket. Between my Phillips and my slotted, whether it's the red ones, the yellow and gray one or whatever, and then a Vessel electric screwdriver, and see, I just make this whatever I want it to be. Those three screwdrivers in my MP2X are the main things I use all the time. Those I'm going to put in my new Vito bag, so that's why they've been in here the whole time. A while back, you did a review for a Hessenzahl portable collapsible stool. Does yours still work? Mine broke after a few months. I got another, and the same thing happened. Yeah, mine's still under my passenger seat. I don't use it. As a matter of fact, I have probably only sat on it 3 or 4 times. I've used it more than anything to take it in somewhere and set like my laser on it or set my tool bag on it or something like that. I'm not usually in somewhere long enough to set on something. So I haven't used mine for that. So mine hasn't broke yet, but I probably don't use mine to the extent of what a lot of people would whenever you buy it type thing. And I don't sit on mine as much to where I'm probably wiggling around on it either. So mine mostly I'm using it as something to set stuff on more so than me sitting on it. So that might be the only reason why mine's not broke. You're not the only person who I've heard say that though. So Roby Nailers. Michael said framing. I use the pass load. I like pass load nailers. I've used quite a few of them. The track fast that we've got for metal framing's pass load. I wish that the whole reason why their nailers are nice is because they're smaller and lighter than the rest of them. But then you got to deal with that gas and all that kind of stuff. And that's why I don't like them, because it never fails. You need some or whatever else. But as long as you stay on top of that, it's not that bad. Will Reed said, nice wood wall. I only did this on my wall because it was the cheapest thing I could do. It was right after some weather. I don't remember what hurricane it was, but all the OSB sheathing and everything was like crazy. Like OSB sheathing, I remember when it was like, $5-7 a sheet. And then at the time it was, I want to say it was up to like 40 or 50, and which I wasn't even going to use OSB sheathing, but that's how much even OSB sheathing was. I was going to buy like good plywood and put it up on my walls because I wanted wood, just because then I can put stuff anywhere I want to. And it was like $100 and something a sheet. And I was just like, I can't do it. But I went outside, and these fence pickets were still like a dollar a piece or something like that. I don't remember what they were, but it was super cheap. So basically I figured up a 4x8 sheet of those, like to fill in the same amount of space, was going to be like $20 or something like that. So I was like, I'm just going to buy a bunch of fence pickets and put them up. So that's the only reason why I ended up doing that on my walls. But I actually kind of like it because if I need to get back in behind there to run electric or something like that, I can just take off a few boards, poke myself a hole in my plastic, and get back in there. I only do plumbing testing. Homely just got the Flex framing nailer, feels a bit lighter than the Milwaukee. I don't think I've seen Flex nailers at my Lowe's. My Lowe's has started carrying Bosch nailers in the last little bit. I did notice those in there the other day. I hadn't seen them before. Like they've got a nailer for all of it, framing nailers, 18, 16, 15. I didn't even know Bosch had them, but my Lowe's has got those out. Glad I found your channel. You make my wallet bleed. It's what most people's significant other doesn't like to hear my little intro on my YouTube. Plumbing said, "What's wrong with you guys? I soldered on Tuesday under a sink for instant hot." I used to solder quite a bit, but like I said, they just don't use copper in my area. And then if there's a repair to be done, and it's not just like you're repairing this one thing, but you're taking this out and putting in quite a few stuff, they always want to change it over to PEX. I thought about Metabo framing nailer, but I wanted the 36 volt. My dad got club seats for Gator Bowl 2 years ago, and I made the mistake of taking my boys last year. I got some free Jacks tickets, and they wanted to go. They asked, where are the seats? Yeah, you can't go back. You can't go back to cheap seats once you get a good seat. And like I said, if I'm going to sit up high to where I can't really tell what's going on, I just assume you can't get a better view of football games than what you can get on TV. Because like I said, it's just such a big field. So like if something's going on the other side of the field and you're set all the way down here in this corner, you can't really see what's going on a whole lot. iCrimp is the brand for my manual pro press, and the one that Joey has is only $60. Five Go Shadow says he solders a lot, that there's a refusal to use pro press or PEX. You sold me on the Roby nailer, just a simple homeowner looking to do some built-ins and some accent walls. Thank you. Yeah, they're pretty good. I've used even the Brad nailers and stuff. Roby's got pretty good nailers. I was asking about the electrical job you had tracked down, Joey. Let's see. I might have. Oh, you were talking about something. Let's see. What was your comment that I thought you were saying something else? I got to go back and see now. Was it the same price for that ordeal? Or were you like, dang, I didn't charge enough? Oh, that was just me going and looking at it type thing on that. It was whatever it was going to be. I ended up, he's going to go buy a new ceiling fan, and I'm going to put up the ceiling fan. And then he also wants me to add a light in his hallway. So I still got to go back and do some work once he buys the stuff. Max got to run. Wife asking for me to tag in for homework. Well, good luck with that. Matt still doesn't have his Atlas vest, going on 7 months. New Vito bags available March 1st. That's the way it always has been, is March 1st. So that's when it started last year. And that's when it normally starts. The Strauss ES Iconic looks pretty good. Is the Strauss ES Iconic, is that a vest? I want to say I've seen that maybe on Amazon or somewhere. That name sounds familiar to me. I'm not sure if that's what that is, but Not sure if anyone used a stack pack. If so, Lowe's had some decent deal of days on some of it. Yeah, I made a little short about that this morning. I saw that. I was tempted because like that dolly was cheap enough, but then Matt even said something to me about it. He said you might could get an adapter because some of that stuff was so cheap that if you could have got an adapter, but a lot of times those adapters to go from one thing to another, especially on Etsy or something like that, by the time you bought the Flex product and then bought an adapter, you'd probably have as much in it as the Milwaukee thing. So I think the spring promotion started in March to the end of April and maybe even May. It did seem like last year, maybe it went on longer than it normally does, in my opinion, but maybe I just was thinking that because I bought so early. Because like last year, I ordered on the very first day, like March 1st. Uh, Maybe that's why, because some of the years before I hadn't ordered like very first thing, but it did seem like it was a lot longer last year. End of the line. Did you miss the giveaway? Yeah, it was Ryan Lavalley 6342 was ended up being who won it. What's up, Robert? Isn't Lowe's setting back from Flex? I'm not sure. Mine doesn't really carry on it, but mine never has had a whole lot of it anyways, as far as the tools and stuff. I don't, it's kind of the same way as they used to, like a lot of people talk about a lot of skill in their Lowe's as far as tools, and mine really never has carried a lot of that either, but they never have really had a lot of Flex. They do have those boxes in mine, but as far as the power tools, they don't carry a whole lot of it, but they never really have. How many vessels do you have? I've got 3 of the 3 speeds. I've got the US version, I've got the Japan version, and then I've got the red one now. So I've got 3 of those. And see, ultimately, I can really get to where, I mean, I love these so much, the in and out, great, that I could get by with not even carrying dedicated screwdrivers and just put me a Phillips and a slotted and whatever else in these now and just have all electric screwdrivers in a pouch. But, and I like the weight of these because they're kind of about the same as the Tang Throughs. But I've got 3 of the USB ones. I've got 3 sets of Phillips and slotted of that right there. I've got the red ones, and I've got 2 of the red ball one and the orange yellowy ball color slotted. And then I've also got, I think I've got 2 of these, maybe even 3, because I was basically how I was using these, putting whatever bit I wanted in it. That's kind of what I use my electric screwdriver for now. And then, but I also put Phillips and stuff in this too if I'm doing a lot of stuff and just don't get out my dedicated ones. But I don't use these as much as what I was because now I kind of use my USB ones because I can use it as a regular screwdriver too if I want to. So I've got quite a few of them. You patched the hole the electrician left? Yeah. There was actually 3 holes. And that one that I sent, there was one person said something about it. So just to explain that whole situation, this is phase 3 within that recruitment center. So, and I'm a subcontractor doing the framing, metal stud framing, hanging the drywall, finishing the drywall, doing the acoustical grid ceilings, and then trim. Like one of the sections had chair rail. I think I made a short maybe of the chair rail in one of them. And then let's see what odd and end type things like this section here is getting some cabinetry in these storage closets. We're going to do those. So that's what I'm doing on the job, but I'm a subcontractor. So I didn't pick like they've got somebody else doing the painting, flooring, the electrical work, stuff like that. And it's his guys who he normally uses. I've only worked for this guy a couple times on some different stores, and I really like the GC guy. He's pretty nice. But in the phase 1, so the electrician, for one, he came in and did the demo, and then left all kinds of conduit and stuff down and said he'd deal with it later. So I was having to hang drywall and do all that kind of stuff around conduit coming down the middle of the rooms and all that kind of stuff. It was a big pain, but whatever. If he didn't have time, I'll deal with that. Well, then we also hung the drop ceilings, and while he was putting his lights in, he bent 2 or 3 pieces of the grid that I had to replace. So that was phase one. Phase two, we put in the door frame, and then he had the switch to where it was on the wrong side of the door frame, to where whenever you open the door, it would have covered up the switch, which he might not have known which way the door swing, and he should have. I don't know. So we called to let him know. He's like, hey, you got this switch in backwards. I don't know if you want to come move it before we hang drywall or do whatever, but we're just letting you know. And he said, well, if you can just pull it up, I'll just do a cut-in box. So he's like, well, okay. So I pulled his electric that he had in up and put it up in the ceiling. And then so we got done all the way with the phase two, the drywall, the painters came in, got done all that, and he still hadn't put that switch in. Well, then he came and put that switch in, and he did use a cut-in box on that one. But he cut the piece of drywall out and just laid it on the floor, brand new carpet. But I was out of phase two at that point, so that ain't on me. It didn't matter to me, whatever. But that's the kind of person that I'm telling you that he is. All the stuff that he did for that cut-in boxes, laying on brand new carpet and all that stuff, drywall piece and all that. So this is phase three, and this is a room that's been demoed completely, no drop ceilings in right now. All that kind of stuff is gone. It's been demoed out because it was another subcontractor did the demo. And so this is a partition wall, doesn't even go all the way up to the ceiling. It's right there. The drywall is not even up to the very top of the metal top plate. Like there's even a hole in it where you could just put your wires right down in it. Didn't even have to drill a hole in the top of it. And he cut out that big old piece of drywall just to put his box in there and put 2 MC cables down in it. Didn't strap his cables, didn't do anything, because one person said, I normally cut a hole that big so I can strap my cables within a foot per coat or whatever. And I was like, well, most people don't do that. They just do a cut-in box in that kind of a situation. But even if he wanted to do that, he didn't strap his cables. So that was one of the holes he cut. And then he cut another hole, same type of thing, about 2 foot. It was bigger than that one. And he did it so he could run a wire from a switch box to a receptacle. But he also, this thing gets 6-inch base. This whole room gets 6-inch base. He cut a hole on the floor up to pull out a piece of MC cable that was in a wall that got demoed out. And so you're talking about one piece of MC cable. What is that? A 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch at the most. He cut a 7-inch hole to be able to pull that through. Of course, 7 inches is 1 inch above 6 inches. If he'd cut it 5 inches, a piece of baseboard would have covered it up. You wouldn't even have to, patch it or do anything. But again, it's just a whole ordeal with this guy. The whole entire job to me, he's just crappy in my opinion. Like I said, it tells me all I need to know about you came in and put in a cut-in box and just took your drywall square that you cut out and threw it on the floor on finished carpet and all that kind of stuff. That tells me all I need to know about somebody. All I know is you can be guaranteed I won't be working on a job with him again. Let's see where I was now. Let's see. HVAC tube, nice podcast with Revival Trades. Waiting on part 2. Appreciate that. That's all Adrian. So I was just there talking. I was afraid it was going to be like, I told him before we started, I said, I'm a rambler. So if you might need to rein me in a little bit, if I start talking about something, sometimes I'll go off somewhere far off in the field somewhere sometimes. And it's very hard whenever you are talking with somebody, because I don't do this very often, where you're actually talking with somebody. There's even a delay here and it makes it weird for me. But like, he would be talking, I would be talking, and then he'd be done talking, I would think. But then it's kind of a delay thing. So then I'd start talking, but then he'd start talking. So it was a little bit weird to do. Again, as somebody who's never done it before. Use the supply bit that came with the screwdriver, double-ended Japan ones. Yeah, Matt likes his Japan bits. He tries to get me to still use those. I mean, they are good bits. I always end up putting bit holders in mine just so I can swap stuff faster. True results, HTX. You beat me on the tool haul. Mine came in yesterday, red and black. My local Lowe's stopped carrying tough build accessories. Any other in-store recommendations? Yeah, not at Lowe's necessarily. As far as you're talking about pouches and stuff like that, or tools, or I never did even get any of the tough built pouches as much as I thought about getting them sometimes. I actually was really close to buying tough built stuff before I bought my first veto pouch because I kept looking at that veto pouch price on the MP1. And I was just like, man, I don't know if I want to spend that on it, which is funny to me now because I didn't spend as much as I do now back then. And I kept leaning towards tough built, but they always felt a little bit too big to me. I got some double-ended bits, but they're not a perfect fit. Get the Annex ones. Yeah, he's tried to get me to get that forever. I caught part 1 today, eager for part 2. Don't buy a Klein sandwich board pouch. Yeah, definitely don't buy Klein mod box pouches. They're just too stiff, too big. The DeWalt pouches, that it looks like to me that they swapped out Tough Built for DeWalt stuff at my Lowe's. Again, I don't know if that's at every Lowe's, but the new DeWalt tool bags and DeWalt pouches, but the DeWalt pouches are huge too, like the ones that I've seen. I actually got caught up, I think. So now I might go back and see if I missed anything. Somebody asked something about what did they get. Well, Reed said, what did they get? Or you might be talking about the winner. That's the, I got it around here somewhere. Let me make sure I shut this. If I don't clip this now, I'll pick it up and dump it in the floor. The Milwaukee 7-in-1 mini ratchet. Tony Duran sent me 2 of these, a subscriber. And so he said I could do with it whatever I wanted to. So I decided I'd give one away because even if I want another one later, I'll buy another one and it'll be just like Tony got it for me. But I know those are hard to get for some people. So I decided I'd go ahead and get them. I did get some, which I've already done a video for them, but Ideal sent me some. I requested them. They didn't send them to me because of who I am. I actually emailed them and asked them. I emailed them and asked them because I ended up buying the 75 pack box because that's the only size they came in. I emailed Ideal a long time ago whenever I was first looking at the lever connectors that are the 10 gauge version, because the 75 was the smallest quantity I could buy them in. I didn't really want that many of them, but I emailed them, asked them if they were going to sell them in smaller amounts, and they said no, but you can get some samples if you'll email them. So they ended up sending me, some of all of them, all the different sizes, and then some of their older ones too. Or actually, they're not older ones; they're just their 12 to 24 gauge ones, and then these are their 22 to 10s. I haven't watched Tactics has a video of this. I haven't got to watch it yet. Then they also sent me an Ideal National Championship Elite Tradesman 2018. So now I can put that on my toolbox or something to make it look like I was an elite tradesman in 2018. It was very interesting to hear some of your work background. You're right about the crazy hours in manufacturing. Brian Davis said, yeah. I mean, whenever I was 19 through probably like 24, I bet I worked. It was pretty common to at least work, minimum of 60 to 70 hours a week. But there's some weeks where I work 14-hour days, 7 days a week, and just pretty much lived at the places where I worked at. And it's kind of still that way here if you work in factories. I guess it's cheaper for them to pay overtime and all that stuff than to pay benefits or something. I don't know. But that's when I was talking about earlier that somebody mentioned about spending all your extra money. That's what I was saying is I kind of had to work those hours because that was the only job available in my area where it paid, remotely decent. So you had to do whatever it was that they asked you to do. But instead of taking my extra money from working 80 hours a week and going and just blowing it on stuff, I kept paying off house debt, you know, vehicle debt, whatever it was. Lows are where brands go to die. That's about right. That's why I'm hoping Klein ends up doing something different. Endless slew of products that are me. It's not too shocking from Tactics video. So what's the synopsis of Tactics video? It looked like he didn't like them based on his thumbnail, but I also saw that he had the Harbor Freight ones in there, so I didn't know if those were the ones that caught on fire or what. So like I said, I'm planning on watching it, but you can go ahead and spoil it for me if you want to. Because I think he said he was going to test the Ideals, Wagos, the Harbor Freight version, and then wire nuts. Harbor Freight wire nuts suck. Wagos are okay, and he likes the new Ideals. I don't mind the new ones. I don't like those old ones. I don't like the way. But again, if I got the older, they're not old, but the 12 to 24 ones, if I had those and didn't ever use a Wago, I think maybe they wouldn't seem so backwards to me. It just seems very backwards using those because the way that the lever's different on them, it's just so weird. I don't know if I surely got a Wago sitting around here somewhere. I'll show you the difference. I normally got some laying around here. No, I got some on some wire, I think. Yep. So like the, let's see. So the lever on the Ideal, you pull it down, and the same as the Wago, you pull it down, but you put the Wago where you put the wire in is on this side. So it's kind of like you flip it up, put your wire in, and then flip it down. That makes sense to me more than I'm going to flip this lever down, put my wire in, and flip it up. But again, had I never, it just so happens I used these first and used them for quite a while to where now every time I try to use one of these, it's just backwards to me. And that's what makes me not like it. Other than also they're not clear is the main reason why I don't like these. But I don't mind the 10 to 24 ones, other than they're huge. They're a lot bigger to fit in a box, but they're just like Wagos. They're clear. The levers are the same ways, all that kind of stuff. But I don't really care for the 12 to 24 version. Let's see. Sound like you didn't have time to spend that money. That's when you take advantage of the situation. That's exactly right. I even said that. I'll never forget it. The place I worked, it was Magna, and they actually had a cafeteria in that factory. It was so big, so that you didn't have to leave and go to lunch. Like they had multiple options. It was kind of like going to like a hospital cafeteria type thing, like all that kind of stuff. And they had an ATM machine in there in case you didn't have any money and you needed to pay for your food. So I went to the ATM machine one day and got me some money out, and then it printed out what my balance was. But I had literally, I just worked all the time. I didn't have a clue whatever it was. And I saw, and of course I was, 20 years old. Married at 19, had a kid at 19. We didn't have any money really whenever we first got married and all that kind of stuff. And I remember seeing my balance on there, and it wasn't astronomical or nothing, but for me at 20 years old, having nothing for a long time, I saw that and I went home and I was like, do you know how much money I got in the checking account? And Miss Maintenance said, yeah. And I was like, well, we need to do something with that. I was like, pay off my truck or put it on the house or do something. It doesn't need to just be sitting there. But yeah, I didn't have time to spend it. Like there wasn't any, like you didn't even have time to go out and spend it to do anything. Like couldn't go on vacations and stuff like that. DJ Toro Serrano, what happened to Tough Build? Are they still around? Not at my Lowe's anymore. Menards has a little bit, but they still don't have like the same kind of stuff like what Lowe's had. They don't have the pouches and stuff. They've got bags and a few little tools and stuff like that, but they don't have like the pouches that Lowe's had because Menards kind of has their own type thing like that. He has his own way of things he likes. No one exactly likes like there's no one's exactly like him. Talking about tactics, I think. I figured that video is going to be all about how wire nuts are awesome. I haven't watched it yet though. I think it's neat to have a testing port on it for a meter on the Wagos. Yeah, I like that too. The only guy I know who hates Vera laser tip insulated because the handles are too small versus Weehaw, which are more round and harder to twist. Yeah, he doesn't like the Knipex forged wire strippers either. But if he's always using wire nuts and pre-twisting and doing all that kind of stuff either, maybe, I mean, I don't run into very big wires that I do a lot with my Knipex forged wire stripper, so it's never been an issue for me. But again, that's kind of to my point of what I say about a lot of tools, and that's why I try not to really say it like this is the one you should get, you know, in my videos. I'm always just like, I'm trying to help you decide if it's right for you. But again, you only know if a tool is going to work for you or not, because just because something works for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you, because you could even be in the same kind of field as me, do similar work as me, but you might just do one little field within that a little bit differently to where you work with some other material way more than what I do, or, you know, just do something totally different. You may live in a different area where you have to do stuff different. So I never try to say this is the tool that everyone should buy most of the time, because it's not the case. Like a tool can be really awesome for one person and be totally completely useless for somebody else, even within the same field. Just depends on what you're doing. ProLock went to Menards under their house brand Mastercraft. They're better than Tough Built. Yeah, that's the two I've seen at Menards. I think it's the ProLock was the one that Tools and Tactics had too that he really liked, I think. What's up, Someway? You tried the Max Tour bits? Yeah, I actually just used them the other day, hanging some drywall. I used it in there just to try them. I do like that they're a little bit. I like that they're a little bit longer. The ones that I got, they're these right here. I think I actually put some down here. It's the Weehaw 76502. They were all Phillips. It was a 10-pack of them. But I kind of like these longer bits like this size. They're the ones that are kind of in my Tool Check Plus. And that's kind of what made me start getting this link bit, because I actually have found that I really like those for whatever reason better. But in comparison, you know, they're probably a third longer. But I actually just used them hanging some drywall, because I didn't use my drywall screw gun because it wasn't a ton. I just used my Surge and just used one of these, because I was trying to be more quiet because we were working right next door to people being in there. So, but so far I like them. We use industrial Weehaw bits at Leatherman. They were good enough for assembly work. Vessel ball bits are 1.25. There he goes, trying to get me to get those Japanese bits. That it's between the vessel bits, the Japanese bits, and then also that annex screwdriver. Those are the two things that Matt hammers me on the most, I think. And if I liked ratchet screwdrivers, I'd probably already bought the annex one. But how good do the Railer bits hold up? So far, I've primarily just used the Allen key bits for the most part. The rest of them are in my drawer. I have got out some of them here or there, and they seem like they're okay. I mean, I haven't had any problems with them, the ones that I've used, but I haven't really, I wouldn't say I've like put them through their paces. The bulk of the main ones that I use are the long ones. Now, the long ones I have used quite a bit because I keep uh, I don't think I've got any of them in here. I keep a Railer bit rail. I bought it that way, and it came with like they're probably 3-inch long bits or something like that. I do use those quite a bit, the Phillips and stuff, and they've been holding up pretty well because those I keep in my pocket of my other vest. So in case I run into something where my bit holder won't get into it, I throw that in there. So I have used the Phillips #2 in that set specifically, and also I think it might have had a T25 in it too that I've used quite a bit, and they've held up fine. Gotten much use out of your MP-MX yet? I love the MP-1X, but would like a bigger option for my meter or more tools when needed. I've carried it maybe like I keep it in my set in my truck on a clip with my meter in it, and then I keep the rest of it empty right now. I might end up loading both of them out at some point in time, but right now what I've been doing is if I'm going to go do a job where I'm going to use my meter a lot, I just take my tools out of my MP2X. It's right there hanging right beside of it. I just take all of them out and kind of throw it over in there and then use that. So far I've probably used it like maybe 6 or 7 times, and it's worked out pretty good. It doesn't bother me. It's not way too big. I was a little bit leery of it looking at it online until I got it, and it still is definitely bigger, but it's not overly big. It's kind of reminds me of wearing my TP3 or something like that, something similar to that. They're getting to the like once you get into that size, you can almost, in my opinion, kind of like if you like to run 2 bags, like if you run like a small bag and a big bag, you can almost get by with your because that's almost really what I'm doing now is my SBLD has almost become my main bag, my bigger bag, even though it's not that big. And then my MP2X is my small bag. You can almost, once you get up into those pouches, look at the bigger pouches as a bag that I can also wear, but you can also just, take it into the house or wherever it is you're working and use that little kickstand and set it up somewhere and use it like a small bag too. So it's not too bad. The annex will change your view. Let's see, ordered the blue electric vessel. I want to say maybe I saw the blue electric vessel on Amazon US. I meant to Aqua or whatever that is. I think that one might be on Amazon US, the electric version. I saw it on somewhere where I was on recently, but I don't remember if that's where I saw it or not. I'm going to grab an MPX with my next Vito order. Most things I do need very few tools. Yes, on Amazon US. I was thinking I saw the blue one because every time I get on Amazon US, I search Vessel Galaxy because they also have sorry about that. They also have something else that was the red. I want to say it was the little the little bit holders that they've got that are also a ball, but you can use them like a stubby too. I think they've got those in the red as well. They have them on Amazon Japan, but I keep searching like the Amazon US, hoping that they're going to show up on there at some point in time. But there's a dark blue color in the special edition Aqua. Railer solid to me. I have the Allen, Torx, Phillips, and the nut driver bits. The rubber and metal carabiner have torn on me though that needs work. Yeah, I've noticed there's been quite a few people tell me that true results on theirs having that problem. I typically don't carry mine on the outside of my bags that much unless I'm using them. I clip them on there, but for the most part, like I'll take my Allen key ones and actually put them in my bag, and then I just get them out. But easiest thing to do really is to not use this right here, because that's the weak point on it. They really need to beef that up or do something. Again, I haven't had any mind break, but my buddy has, and I've heard several of you guys say it, is to just run you a zip tie or something through, one of the bits, and just use it that way and get rid of that weak spot. It stinks to lose a bit, but at least then that lets you keep using it. Plumbing doesn't have anything really to look forward to with the Vito still. He doesn't get any of his wrencher bags. Did they ever put any of them back on the website, Plumbing? I haven't been on Vito's website for a while. I didn't know if you said they were gone. What's up, apartment maintenance couple? I wear the MP1X when I'm on a scissor lift because it's hard to move around with the harness and yo-yo in such a tight space. My full tool belt is such a hassle. The MP1X and Big Joey are my go-to. Yeah, I like the MP1X. It's a good bag. It's a good size. The MP1, if I had the 1X, I would probably use it maybe even more than my 2X, but I use my 2X more than my 1 because I like the clip. It's a lot easier to put on and off, and I just keep my tool. It's also easier for me to get it in and out of my truck because the way I clip my pouches on that rail, with the 1X, I got to undo the belt, stick it around the rail, snap it every time, all that. So it's just made it where I just like the ease of the clip a little bit better. I've thought about, now that I've been using the Pen Pal, I was actually thinking about, it ain't gonna hurt my feelings to really try it anyways. I thought about maybe going through this on my, let's see right here, I got a zip tie on that one, but I actually put on that, but I did that purposely just because I was going to try to keep it from the carabiner flops a lot more if you use a carabiner. So I do that with the zip tie just so this doesn't move as much, but I still haven't had that break. But if that broke, I'd just put the zip tie through this hole right here. But I thought about trying to put this, get one of those pins and somehow put it on this. But right now mine's not broke, so it's hard for me to, I want to do that. But I could also put a clip on this probably too if I wanted to. Take something like that off the back of one of these and put it on there. But that makes me not, even though, like I said, I like the layout of this one. It really works with typically what I normally carry. But again, just doing that, even though it's not a big deal, over and over again, it's just faster for me to use my 2X instead. When is the buy bag, get a free bag sale? It should be March 1st is when it normally starts, but haven't heard for sure, but that's typically when it is. Let's see. You need a disclaimer on the TV for common questions when Vito's going to start. What's that Klein thermos and that giant wire nut? LOL. Yeah, the Klein thermos, I'd get that like crazy, especially like I said on my shorts videos because it's like blaring right there on those most of the time. It's all the time on that one. I get, what's that big Klein thing in the back of your video and where do I get it? What's up, Wacky Waylon? Nothing's going to be as smooth as Vito themselves. Yeah, I have typically always bought my Vito stuff on Vito's website just because they do that warranty stuff. Which again, I've never had to use the Vito warranty, but then also the free bag stuff. It's just seamless. Like as soon as you order something, they just go, it's coming. You don't have to fill out any paperwork or any of that kind of stuff. But I have bought a few Vito stuff. I think I actually even bought my MP1 off Amazon because like something like that, I know I'm probably never going to use the warranty on it anyways. So I don't care if it's the same price and I'm going to get free shipping and stuff because, like my Vito, the MPMX, I paid quite a bit of shipping just to get it sent to me versus I could have got it on Amazon with free shipping, a little bit later. And, you're paying for the shipping, but you also get the warranty that way that you might not get through Amazon. Not to say that you won't get it through Amazon, but you might not. But I mean, in the big scheme of things, it's a pretty good chance I'm never going to use that warranty. I know you're relatively young. Just wondering if you set an age where you plan on retiring. I don't know that I'll ever fully retire probably until I'll just probably slowly phase out of hopefully doing really labor intensive work like just this week I hung a bunch of 5/8 drywall and just mudding and sanding and all that kind of stuff. After that's not like that's that hard, but after you've done it for 20 something years, your elbows and your shoulders and all that kind of stuff just start wearing out on you and stuff like that. And again, it's not that I won't do that stuff. I just hope that I'm not doing it in a sense of where I'm doing a lot of it at one time type thing. So I can't imagine myself ever not doing anything until I just physically can't. But I'm figuring there'll be a time where I'll just say, I'm really going to only go do the jobs that I want to do type thing, stuff that interests me, uh, stuff that I think's fun or whatever it might be. Cause I actually see a lot of my work is that way. Like, some of it's work and it's just getting something done and all that kind of stuff. But there's certain jobs I do that if I didn't have to pay for groceries and didn't have to pay for gas in my truck and all that kind of stuff, it's like I'd do it for free just because it's fun to figure stuff out. So I don't imagine myself ever 100% retiring, but I can see myself not working like all the time, like certain days, maybe that kind of stuff. I want the clip just for my Joey pouch. That's how I think I'll end up using it the most. I mean, I like it on I like that, but I like the spider drill pin too. But I definitely am gonna like that. And you might not have been in here yet, apartment maintenance, but a guy asked a question, and so I left the belt clip on here and then just turned this. So now I can use that with the belt clip still, but then also I can use it with the pin if I want to. So if you bought one of those holsters and you're running an impact with it and you want to use it for that, but then if you also want to run a Joey pouch, you could use the clip if you're running both. But then if you're just running just a Joey pouch, you could use your little holster and swap back and forth. So that makes it a little bit better, even in my opinion, because now this allows me to still clip this in my truck, because that was the thing I was also trying to figure out, because with just the pin, I normally clip these on those rails in my truck. I was going to have to either make little slots in the rail or do something so I could hang this pin on there. But now with this, I'll be able to just clip them on there the same way that I was. So I'm probably going to order me some of these for all my pouches. And then especially now that I can do this with it. So see, a question from a subscriber. Help me out. TPG said something that was nuts. Strangle them wires. Don't you have an MPX already, TPG? Let's see. I would love to be your apprentice. I love to learn this stuff, Elliot Parrish said. Yeah, I purposely went to, I talked about it in that Reliable podcast where for 2 years I left the place where I was working at and went to work for a commercial construction company to work with a guy that I also work with now. We help each other out on our jobs because we were good friends. And then also he's really good at commercial finish work and stuff like that, like inside malls and stuff where it's a little bit different type type of work. So I wanted to go work with him for a little while and just work with him just for that same reason, just to learn some stuff from him, how he goes about doing stuff and stuff like that. So it's always good if you find somebody. I know a guy here locally where I live who does a little bit of everything. I'm trying to work with him. We have a local HVAC school we're looking into. Holstery sells the metal parts that are on the belt clip that holds the pins. Okay, so what I do with it, Timinator, they sell this part, or let's see what he said. Holstery sells the metal parts that are on the belt clip that holds the pins. So they sell these metal parts right here, like just this, so you can mount this on something like in your truck, basically is what you're saying. Yeah, that would work too. But now that I know I can do this, that's what I'm going to end up doing. I'm just going to make them all like this. Keezy said, as long as you're doing what you love and love what you do, keep on keeping on. Yeah, and as I get older, I'll probably do more stuff like that. Again, it's just stuff that I want to do. And if I can do it to help people out and all that kind of stuff, which I do that now for a lot of people, like whenever it's people I know and stuff like that now too. I don't mind doing stuff if it's stuff that I like doing. It's the stuff that I don't like doing that I still do now. And it's not even that I don't like doing, it's just stuff that I don't prefer to do. But a lot of times people can't find anybody else. So I go ahead and do it for them. And again, it's more so the stuff that I won't want to do that stuff by myself for sure. There's certain things that I don't mind doing if I've got help, but I don't want to do it by myself anymore. I often wonder if the osteoarthritis I have is due to the heavy construction I did in my younger life. Take care of your body. It came on me fast in my 60s. Yeah, I don't even want to think about that because I'm 44, but my body probably feels like it's 70. So I don't even want to know what my body's going to feel like in my 60s. But I've been really rough with my body. I mean, I was a bull in a china shop all through my younger years, and then I played every sport imaginable all through school. Uh, I mean, just beat the fire out of my body. I definitely didn't take care of mine. And that was the metal parts, Tim Nader said. I did years of concrete, took 20 years off my life, Matt HMN said. That is rough work. Looks like a door chain slide. Is it the same size? It's probably pretty similar. I wouldn't doubt that it's not. I mean, that's about right. I mean, to be honest with you. How do you like those pack out battery holders? Matt S said, they're pretty good. I don't mind them. I wouldn't fit them in my truck or van or anything. Probably. It seems like well, they're not really that big of a waste of a space, but I can't imagine buying the wall mount stuff and putting it in it and all that. I got them just because I screwed them up to my wall, but they're not bad at all though. I think the M12 one to me takes up a little bit too much space for how many batteries you fit in it. The M18 one probably is pretty there's not a lot of empty space on the M18 ones if you use bigger batteries, but the M12's it takes up quite a bit of room for just four, but especially if all you put in it was four of the, smaller ones. That's a lot of room to take up for, four small batteries. I do like how the stuff snaps in though, and then you have to undo it to get it out. It's not just something you stick it in there and it holds it in there. See you, 5 Go Shadow. I learned that. I was cleaning moss off a roof the other day because they were so desperate to get somebody to do it. Cost a lot of money, but hey, work is work. Yeah, it's all the time. Almost like I said, all the time. Whenever I go to somebody's house, it's one of two things. It's usually you're the first person that's come out here and even willing to look at this, and then I can't find anybody else. You know, that's just all the time. That's all I hear all the time. Like you could literally, if you really wanted to, in my area, to be honest with you, you could charge whatever you wanted to, and there's really not much options for a lot of people. I'm not saying you should just stick it to people. I'm just saying it's getting to be that way. That's what it's going to end up being. Have you tried the holstery belt, or do you have a favorite work belt? Right now, I'm wearing the Groove belt. I did a video for that a while back. I actually just got a belt in from a company. I was hoping to get it in before the tool haul video because I was wanting to put it in a tool haul video, so I don't make a video just for it because I think they want it released by like the 25th or something like that. So I got to make a video here in the next little bit for that. But it's an arcade belt. I hadn't really heard of them, but this is their first version of like a work belt, I guess, and it was cheaper than the Groove belt, and it kind of has a feature on it that I like because the Groove belt, the only thing that I don't like about it is that, which I mean, that's what I've got on right now. And I'm not saying it as it makes me not like it. I'm just saying I'm a person who gains weight and loses weight. Like I adjust my belt like every week, just about it seems like, and like it's very hard to adjust it, like take slack out of it, put it back in, that kind of stuff. So if you adjust your belt very often, it's not very easy. It's really hard. And this one's kind of got a feature on it, kind of like I think the holstery. It's got kind of the same buckle as like the holstery thing, but it's also got like some different slots, so you can easily just because even throughout the day, sometime my body weight seems like it changes, or my water weight or something, to where I don't know if maybe you've been that way, where beginning of the day your pants are tight as all get out, and then by the end of the day, if you work and they're falling off of you and around your ankles. But this belt kind of has three settings where you can kind of adjust it uh, real fast. So I wanted to try it just for that. So I offered to go ahead and let them send it to me. I know it's called Arcade. I can't remember it's a brand new belt though. So I don't even think it's out yet. And I don't know I can't remember what the model number is off the top of my head. Keezy must have cussed somebody. He retracted it. Fast Cap TLC is nice. System works the same way. Definitely do lighter jobs after 50. Slow it down. Yeah, the guy that I work with is in his 60s, and I mean, but he'll probably work longer than I will. Like he's just that kind of guy, and but he'll work circles around anybody I know. Like it's crazy how fast he does stuff, and still does a good job. I ran a cat front end loader for U.S. Steel for 15 years, and my back is nothing but arthritis. Water weight for sure. Plumbing McQuay said, been there too many times. Core belts, Colin Cody said. I haven't heard of those. I just so happened to buy a Groove belt because they had some kind of sale going on or something. And I was like I was the same way about that as I was my MP pouches. I was like, I've never in my life paid, $50 for a belt or something like that. And again, as much as I even wear one, and how much it would affect you if you really got a good one, but you just don't think about it that way. But I would run through leather belts like crazy because I was always poking new holes and, all that kind of stuff. And same thing with a leather belt. I would begin of the day, it'd be tight. End of the day, my pants be falling off. And I finally was just like, yeah, I'm going to buy one of these belts. Everybody talks about them all the time. I'm just going to get one to see. And I don't think that honestly, I love them. Like I can't imagine like this style of belt. Like I don't think it has to be a Groove belt, but the kind of belt that's got a little bit of stretch to it, but it's still kind of stiff. I really like it. Matt HMM said dinner time next time 4 p.m. my time. LOL. I don't even know what 4 p.m. your time is versus my time. I'm not sure how many hours you are behind me. I'm gonna get off here in a minute too. It's cold out here, so it's dropped down to 41. But Abraham's got the groove belt like it, but have the next belt. You can easily adjust it because it runs on a track like fastening system. Good for pew-pews. Yeah, the adjustment on this one is so tight that it's very hard to get like a little bit of movement on it. And like I said, this belt that they sent me, it's got basically like a hook type uh, belt clip. So I think that's the way the holsteries is. But it's also got like 3 or 4 different things within a little increment, but it also stretches so you can easily just unhook it and go to the next one if you need to tighten up your pants a little bit or something like that. Arcade belts, great for travel, no metal. Didn't know they had a heavy duty model. I think that this is a brand new thing. They're just releasing it, coming out. I want to say they said, again, I can't remember what the model number is. I don't think it's on because I think I searched for it and I couldn't find it. Uh, I think they're releasing it maybe the end of this month. I'm pretty sure. What's up, Killtronics? George, I use a military issued nylon belt, lightweight and does not slip. Killtronics been dealing with frozen pipes. Yeah, that's the same as some other people have been saying. I figured there'd be a lot more of that in my area, to be honest with you, but I haven't even heard of nobody I know, even if they hadn't called me for it to fix it. There's nobody I know of, even personally, that had frozen pipes. But a lot of times, whenever this happens, you'll hear that from a lot of people. I got the magnetic belt you had on your channel and I love it. Yeah, that's what I've got 2 of them, and I've got the same 2 from that video, and they both are still working great. Like I said, the only thing I don't like about it is whenever I've got to adjust them, like if I've lost a little bit of weight or I've gained a little bit of weight, even though they stretch, you don't have to adjust them that often because they stretch, but whenever you do have to adjust them, it's a little bit hard. TPG says I drip faucets. Yeah, it's smart. We used to always have to have the tenants and stuff where I worked at before. You try to get them to do it, but then half of them wouldn't do it, and half of them would. Words of wisdom: don't buy a 100-year-old building that had slumlord remodel. This plumbing is a joke. Yeah, I don't hardly. I've looked into buying a different house a few times, and then I've also been looking for houses, for my sons or whatever. If I can ever find like one that needs work, that I can go in and put labor into, and then but get a good deal on it, type thing. But most of the houses I find, they've all been a rental for a really long time. And, realtors probably hate it whenever I go look at houses with my sons and stuff like that. Cause I'm like, I'm going in the crawl space and I get up in the attics and, I'm basically Mike Holmes in it, going around looking at all the stuff, opening up the panel, seeing what it looks like inside of it. And, but most of the stuff that I see, it's very hard for me to want to buy anything, even new construction. To be honest with you, the new construction is almost as bad as older stuff, if not worse. You got to kind of find something that's kind of old, that back when people cared, and not new, but you don't want something also that's been kind of old that somebody else has already went into and tried to make it work, because then they've rigged it up with whatever they've done. Using freeze misters has prevented a lot of frozen pipes. I think that might be. I think I've seen those at Home Depot, and I never. They actually got them on clearance right now. You can get like one of them for $20 or 2 of them for 30 or something like that. Is it something that you put on the? I had never seen them before. I started to look at the package actually today. Uh, it looked like it was something you put on the hose bib, and it must do something. I'm not sure. I don't know if that's what that is or not. I've never heard of them before. Commercial building, the clerk left the faucet dripping last night. It froze anyway. Well, and sometimes it matters, like what faucet you leave dripping, and where your plumbing goes and how it's routed, because sometimes if you drip this faucet over here, But if it's the very first faucet on your water line and then you got more of them going down this way and those never move. So sometimes you got to leave a lot of faucets dripping. Just depends on how it goes. What's up, Apache? Doing pretty good, buddy. Getting ready to get off here. You came in right near the end. Paid by the hour, so luckily my foreman lets us work bags off. But belts come in handy on lifts and on ladders in commercial. There's no outside faucets. I got a plan, but it has to happen this summer. Yeah, like I said, I'm really surprised there haven't been more frozen pipes in my area in the last little few days, because it's not even. We had a spell probably like a month ago that was even worse than the last couple of days, where it was down like zeros and negatives with the, you factor in windshield and all that stuff. And again, that's cold for my area. That's pretty cold, even though it might be standard somewhere else. Love the hoodie. Yeah, I like this one. I got this back like in the summertime as a deal of the day on Home Depot one day. I like this. This is the last few hoodies that I bought from Milwaukee have been whatever this one is. It's the Free Flex or something like that. Uh, it's nowhere near as thick as, like, this is the kind of thickness of a hoodie that I like. The other Milwaukee ones I've got, I like them, but man, they are super thick and they are crazy hot. Like if you wear them in places where it's not really cold, you burn up pretty fast. 3-layer brick building, only plumbing it. Put them on an outside spigot. They automatically open at 37 degrees, letting a little water out. So that's what I saw at Home Depot then. I haven't ever heard of them before. I hadn't seen them, but I saw them at Home Depot. They're actually on clearance at my Home Depot right now. I don't know what the normal price is on them, but I think they were $19.97 for a 1-pack and then $29.97 for a 2-pack or something like that. 1950s house with a crawl space with heat ducts. Never had frozen water pipes. Have been below zero all this week. Yeah, my house was probably built in the, if I had to guess, either probably late 60s or something like that, maybe early 70s, but probably late 60s. And it's got all my ductworks in my crawl space and all my pipes. I have, they're copper, and then I've got some PEX, but they're, none of them's even wrapped, insulated, nothing. And I do get in the wintertime, I've got the vents that automatically close at certain temperature, but once it gets cold, I go ahead and I crawl under my house and just stick insulation and all those. And then because the humidity's not bad here in the wintertime and all that kind of stuff. And then I just go take them back out when the real cold weather's over. But I never have had my pipes freeze. And I don't even leave my faucets dripping or anything. You ever hang replacement windows? Very rarely. I have, but I'm very rarely. Like I purposely don't do a lot of exterior work because I don't like the scheduling aspect of it, because I work for myself. So I can't afford to be like 10 days deep in work and rain has pushed me out. So exterior work, starts getting into scheduling and stuff like that a whole lot different than interior work. Like it's very rare that something happens where I can't do my interior work unless it's a customer has something come up that they don't want me in there working for whatever reason. Of course, then that means I can push it out however much I want to, because that was their decision. But working by myself, scheduling is the hardest thing by far. So I try not to get myself into too much exterior work to where I have 2 rainy days happen and it throws everything that I've got into a spiral that I can't catch up with, because I don't have somebody where I can say, well, you're going to go do this today while I go over and work on this one to make this customer happy type thing. So I don't do that much myself. (1904) old bank building. Yeah, the old buildings are always fun to work in, though. I like working in old buildings just to figure stuff out. But sometimes stuff's not not the best if somebody's been working in it for a long time. I did run into a lot of stuff where a lot of the buildings that I worked at the facility I worked at, the place had been around for like 100 and something years, but the original building burnt down. I think the oldest building that was there was like 1940 something. And, but it had so many, not only different maintenance people over the years, but also they do a lot of volunteer work where, cause it's it was a nonprofit. So they'd have a lot of volunteers come in and do stuff that didn't even really need to be doing a lot of stuff. And so there's all kinds of stuff I ran into that was just, who did this type thing. If there's rain in the 10-day forecast, upcharge, LOL. Yeah, I've put in plenty of windows in my lifetime, like of at my other job and helping people and stuff like that. But I don't do it much. I try not to do outside stuff that much. It's like even exterior doors. I do quite a few of those, but I don't like doing exterior doors just because it never fails. You run into stuff. And again, working for yourself, it's still a little different because if I take out a door and I'm by myself 100% and then your floor's all rotted and whatever, and then I got to go to the store to go get some stuff and all that, there's not somebody still there cutting out the bad parts and getting stuff ready to where whenever you get back from the store. So then, of course, somebody's house, you can't just leave the exterior door wide open for a day or two and say, hey, I'll be back tomorrow to finish this up type thing. So I do a lot of exterior doors, but I don't like doing them personally. My father was a plumber. I hated doing plumbing with him in the dead of winter, becoming an electrician. There's not very many fun jobs in the middle of winter, to be honest with you. If you live somewhere that's crazy cold, it's just not fun. 75% of the time on exterior door has rot. Especially if there's no overhang. They ought to make it 100% a requirement, in my opinion, where back doors of houses like crazy, especially on just standard houses, the ones that are just, they build like crazy in subdivisions and all that stuff. And they won't put any kind of a little porch or anything over the back door. And it's just vinyl siding. And it's just always, every time you can pretty much bank on it. It's going to be rotted underneath of it. But I'm going to go ahead and get off here and get inside and get warmed up, I think. Try to anyways. Hopefully I'm going to have time to film the guest of trade tomorrow. I'm behind on that. So hopefully I'll get that done tomorrow and be able to have that posted for Saturday. I'm still not being able to figure out the problem with my screen recording stopping. So I just have to keep doing with whatever I'm doing and hope some kind of an update fixes it at some point. Cause I still think it's an update thing of some kind. Cause I had zero problems with it for like 40 something episodes, almost 50 episodes. And now all of a sudden it's doing the same thing as with YouTube mirroring my picture on this. People just change things. So we'll see y'all later. See you TPG, Wings and Pizza, Killtronics, George and Keezy. But I got to do the walk of shame and walk around here because can't hit the X button from here. But hopefully I'll see y'all Saturday. I don't know that I'll do a live Saturday morning. I haven't done one in a while, but I try to do it every now and then for the UK people and all those people that are on a different time zone. But I don't know if I'll have time or not. We'll just have to wait and see. I got quite a bit of stuff that I need to be doing, but if nothing else, I'll for sure hopefully be in the chat on the guest of trade too. I'm surely I'll be able to get that filmed, but we'll see y'all on the next one. Walk of shame.